question.
Yes.
Uh, and I'm going to take advantage of the group here. So Sarah had mentioned in some one of her presentations that she uses an audio recording app on her iPhone. Can anybody recall what that app was? I have an iPhone and I'm trying to figure out which is the best.
Oh.
It also records the voice and does a transcription.
Oh, the transcript. I think we need to ask Sarah about it. Giselle, can you please maybe try to reach out to Sarah? Because Sarah has a workshop today. So we'll see if she can respond to us. But yeah. So
I was wondering if somebody might have that information at the tip of their fingertips.
Okay. No worries. If we can't gather the information during the live call, we will just send you an email afterwards.
Thank you so much.
Fine? Okay,
yes,
no worries.
Great.
Any questions for me? Any some other questions? So yeah, so I think we're good. So so basically our tech toolbox topic with today will be just basically creating form submissions so you can gather data from your student using a form. And then afterward, we'll also discuss about basic customization that you can do to your forms and also the basic workflow. So you will know where does your leads go after they submitted a form and how you can maybe start tagging them, segmenting them, and categorizing them. So that's what we're going to do with today's session. And yeah, so let's start with our discussion. But first, let me just walk you through on the current updates we got into the system. So yeah, so let me just get this thing out of my screen. We are recording, we are live, and we're all good to go. So yeah, so thank you guys for jumping on a call with me. So basically what we're going to do now is the very first thing is you need to create a form. But before that, let me just show you the current updates that our dev is doing currently on the back end. So when you actually, from your Technetics dashboard, go down onto the settings and then here, go to labs, and you will see all the recent, all the upcoming updates that our dev is working. So all the updates are listed in here. If you want to get notified, or if you want to the updates to take over your current platform, you just need to click on enable, and it will automatically enable once the current active is will go live. Because currently all the updates you will see in here lined up are on the beta period and it's still on the testing mode. Yeah. So yeah, so you will see everything in here. And then another thing is we actually have something that is called, when you go to your business profile, this may not be available to all of the users yet because this is still on beta, but on your business profile, you'll finally see platform language. Platform language will allow you to change the platform language you got, but this is currently limited to like sites and courses and forms. So if you're thinking that your course portal will show the same way, no, not yet, but our dev is continuously working on that update to make it like internationalized to all of the section into your Techmatics platform. But currently this update is only visible to you, the user's end. So user's end, it means you and all the people that has access to your account. So yeah. Let me show you let me show you where to find the platform language. Currently, when I go back to my dashboard and I'll show you around the sites and courses, you will see the titles here on top are in French because I changed my platform language into French. So yeah, so basically in a nutshell, this is the current update we got. But again, this is not yet available to the user's end. So user's end, it means your student who has access to maybe your course portal and things like that. And if you're maybe asking if this is now available to your funnel pages, landing pages, and websites, no, not yet. But we actually have a like a client from Jerusalem who has been building her website inside Techmatics. But what she currently doing is she just copied some of her like what do you call this language and paste it to the system. So that's the current workaround. if you have like different, what do you call this, like units of alphabets into your like language. So yeah, so that's the current update we got. But aside from that, we also have a lot in here which we're going to update onto our Facebook group later on, because we'll do a documentation about the current updates we got, so you will know what to look out. So yeah, so that's basically for the update. But for me, I'll just change my platform language into English, because I just did that for a test. Let me just do English United States update, and that's all good. So when I go back to my sites and courses, you will see that it's back to funnels. So yeah, so if you have any questions, just put it on the chat box so we can jump on. Hello, Hadia, I just saw you coming in. Yeah. So let's start with how to create a form. So the forms can be found under sites and courses. Here on top, you will see the form tab in there. When you hover to that, you will see three options. You will see builder, analyze, and submission. So basically here on builder, this is where you're going to create the forms. And under analyze, this is where you're going to see the statistics of form submission. So let me just show you the analyze, because we'll definitely work on the builder part later on. So analyze, you will see the total submission of each of the form. And under here, you will see the legend, or the source of the data. So it's coming from the submission from the cookie pop form, submission form, and pop-up form 524. So that's how you're going to do it. And then here you can also see all the statistics on how many submissions you got. So yeah, so just basically analyze is basically the statistics of how many submissions you got for a certain amount of time. Here on the top right, this is where you're going to create, or to filter your statistics into a certain amount of time. You can either see the submission or statistics within the year, last year, or maybe this month. So yeah. After analyze, we have here is form submission. So basically, form submission are the total submission of the forms you have gathered from a certain amount of time. This box right here that is saying all form, this is where you're going to specify if you're going to maybe track down the submission from a certain form. So say, for example, if you created this form 27 and you want to see how many submissions you got, or who submitted a form on form 27, when you click on that one, it will show all the submissions in there. But currently there's no submission yet, but let me just show you something that has some data. So basically this pop-up form 524, when you click on that one, you will see all these people that submitted the pop-up form 524. And on the right-hand side, you will see all the individual information about that person, that student, or that client. Yeah. And on the right-hand side, you will see where you're going to maybe change the date filter if you're trying to maybe just see all the form submission from month of June, month of July, maybe for the whole year or last year. So yeah, so that's the date filter we currently have. So yeah, so basically that's a form submission. But we're going to focus on the builder part in this toolbox. So let me just switch to builder. And while we're currently waiting on that, let me just check on our chat. My internet is stable. If I drop off suddenly, it's in there. No worries, Gwen. No problem at all. Thank you for that. So yeah. So let's start with the forms. Same thing with the funnels website and the forms. We actually have a new update. This is called the recent tab, where you're going to click on the recent tab. It will show you the most recent form, the most recent funnel, or the most recent website that you are working on. So you can just easily pick up instead of going through each of the funnels, each of the folders and different pages to catch up on that exact form that you're currently working. So you can just click on the recent to easily find the most recent work you've done. But in our case, I'll just do the list because we will start from scratch. So yeah, so let's begin with creating the form. So on the right hand side, under funnel builder, you will see add form. And this is where you're going to create your form. So let's create a form. So click on add form, please. And then afterwards, the very first thing that you will notice with your form is this form 28 on top. This form 28 is basically the form name or the form title. So we will definitely change this into the actual form name. This form name right here is only visible to you, the user of the account, or basically the owner of the account. And this is not visible to like all of the like students and clients and the leads. So yeah, so let's change the form name into the actual form name. To do that, on the right hand side, go to options, and under form name, this is where you're going to change the form name. In our case, I want to call it June lead magnet. And yeah, so that's how you're going to do it. If you want to go crazy with your titles, you will know which one to use. Do that because this is only visible to you. Okay, so aside from that, basically this lead magnet, what I want to have in here is I want to get the information from my leads coming from their first name, email, their website link or address, because I want to maybe check on their website. And also the fourth question that I'm going to ask is I want to know where they hear from us. So it could be from different socials, or it could be from a friend, from referral and stuff like that. So I'll show you how to do that in a bit. But yeah, so once you already change your phone name, the next thing that you need to do is go to fields and then go to standard. All the fields that you can see under standard are basically um the basic fields that is needed from the form. It includes all the contact information, demographic, and company information. So yeah, so in our case, what we need under the standard field are the first name. So what you're going to do is just click on that field that you got on the right hand side and just drag it across the screen. So that's where you're going to do it. And then I need their email too. And then afterwards, I also need their website address. So yeah, so that's what I'm currently what I require for this exact form. And then after that, we're going to create a custom field. Custom fields are basically the fields that is outside your standard fields. So when you scroll to the standard fields and you won't see any the question that you want to ask, it means you need to create a custom field for that. So beside the standard field, you will see this custom fields. So click on custom field, and this is where you're going to create a new custom fields. So in our case, we already like imported some custom fields that you can use in your system. So if you have something that maybe works for you, you can also do that. For example, right here, we have signature, which you can definitely just use if you're doing like consents and like terms. And then aside from that, we also have this custom field. But what I want is specifically, I have a specific question in mind that I want to use. So what I'm going to do, I'll just scroll through this custom fields until I will see this as add custom field. And this is where I'm going to add my custom question. So click on add custom field. And then in here, it will give you an option to choose whatever layout you want. So it could be maybe a single line. You will show it will show you a preview right here. So single line question will look like this. It will just have this small text box below the question. We also have multi-line for a longer, like maybe response if you want. Aside from that, we also have a checkbox, which is basically a checkbox. We also have a drop-down option. Yeah. So in our case, maybe I want to do checkbox because I want them to be specify on where they hear from me. So that's what I'm doing. So I'll click on checkbox and then I'll click next. And then afterwards, I'll change the name of this custom field into the actual question. So what I'm going to do is I will ask them, where did you hear from next? So I'm just doing it like that. And then under group, you can either create a custom group for this, but all of the miscellaneous question, I suggest you can put in on additional info. So do it like that. And then under here, under options name, this is where you're going to put all the option for the checkbox. So in my case, my options would be Facebook, Instagram, website, LinkedIn, and you can definitely like put in like any other options, but that would be the top 4 for me. So I'll settle with this. So I just click save. And after that, you will see that custom fields being added to the last part of the custom field like options. So what you're going to do the same thing with what you did with the first name, email, and website. We can just drag it across the screen, and this is how it looks like. So that's how the checkbox is currently looking like onto our system. And after that, all the form, what you actually need to the form, this is very important, is you actually need to put in the button. So under the standard fields, you will see the button here to the last part. So just drag that button element across the screen, and now you have a button in. So yeah, so the question would be, how can I maybe customize my form? I want to put in like images, I want to put in like colors and stuff like that. So let me show you how I do it. So the very first thing, some of you would like to maybe have a like form banner on top, right? So what I suggest, you will see this image under standard fields, right? So just drag that image element on the top of your form, and it will look like this. When you click on choose file, it will allow you to choose whatever file or whatever image you want to add as a form banner. In my case, maybe I'll want to use this Tecmatic tab that we have, because I want to have some image on top of my form. So yeah, so maybe I'll like it like this. So you can either do that, and maybe another question. I choose the wrong image. I want to change it. How can I change it? Unfortunately, you can't change it like this. What you can do, if you you choose the wrong image, if you need to get rid of that recent image, and then drag the image again to the form, and then choose the right file for your image. So that's what you're going to do. So I'll just click on choose file, and I'll choose the exact image right here. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to use as my form banner. Aside from that, this button right here can also be customized into your branding color or the size of the text and stuff like that. So when you click on the button, this pop-up will show up on top. It is now labeled as button, so it means you're editing the button. So the customization you can do on the button is, first, you can change this button text here into something else. So maybe I want to make it I want what do you call this? Sign me up. Let me do it like that. So that's how we're going to change it. You can change it under the text box here on the right hand side. And you can also do a subtext that can be added below the text that you added to the button. So let's call it sign me up. I want in. So the subtext is not visible because we're going to change the font color in a bit, but that's actually like below the sign me up text. So yeah, so aside from that, below the text box, you will see all the options you can do on like customizing your button. So let's start with the background color, where you can change the color of the button into something else like this one. And also aside from that, you can put in like border to your button, but me personally, I don't put border. But what I usually do for my buttons, I always put a rounded edge for them. So what I'm going to do is on the corner radius, I always put it at 25, and it will look like this. That's the case if you want to have a rounded edges. But if it's too much for you, then you can maybe put in 15. Yeah, but if you want to have maybe a like sharp edges, you can just remove the radius, so it will be maybe kind of box. And aside from that, I always put my form as a full read, because I think that adds up to the like the whole form experience. So I turn on full read, so it will take up the whole space like lengthwise. Yeah. And aside from that, we also have different options right here for the shadows and things like that. Let me just find the text. Just give me one sec. I want to change the text color into white. Yeah, here. So we have the option for the colors or for the text. So the text is sign me up, right? And the subtext is count me in here, like below it. So the text color can be changed, or I mean the font color of the text can be changed to whatever color you want. So you can do red, you can do white, but in our case, let's just do white. And you can definitely adjust the size of the text. So currently it's on 14. I want it to be on 18. You will see the difference. So yeah, so that's increase in size. And the subtext, I want it to be visible. So I'll just change the color of the subtext into white. Sorry, I just click on that. Yep. And I'll adjust the sizing into maybe just 16. So yeah, so that's how you're going to do it. Yeah. Aside from the button customization, here on the right hand side, we also have this styles box. Click on that one. And in here, this is where you're going to adjust the background color, the layout of the form. So the first thing that I want to show you is this inline forms. So what does inline forms do? Let me just click on it so you will see it clearly. Yeah, so that's how the inline form do. It will like squish the like form fields into like individual or maybe like smaller spaces. But in my case, since we have a like checkbox right here, I don't want to use that. So I'll just take that off. Aside from that, we also have show label. If you want to be minimal with your form, you can turn it off, and this is what will happen. Yeah, so basically all the descriptions or the labels of each of the fields will be gone. If you want to do it like that, you can definitely do it like that. But since we have a checkbox right here, which basically the label is very important, I'll just make it showed. So I'll just make it like show the label so it will be visible. And then aside from that, background color could be like basically customized. For example, I want it to be red, so you can do it like that. But in our case, I'll just do white because that's much cleaner. We also have the border, but in our case, I always put it on 0 because I don't like the border, how the border looks like currently. And here down below, you will see width. You can definitely adjust the width of the form. So as you can see, this one looks too portrait or like petite. So I usually do 900 depending on where I'm going to put the form, and it will look like this. So yeah, so I changed it on width, so you can also maybe try to do that. We also have padding option, shadow option, field styles. Um, and yes, and a lot more. So I'll just leave all these other things to you if you want to change it. But one thing I think I want to emphasize this label like options right here. So label are basically this label on top. So first name, email, website, and the title of the like checkbox question. So you can either change the label into whatever color you want, and it will look like this. Because me personally, I struggled in where to change the label color, so I want to emphasize it. So I will just change it into black because I think that's the right, or I mean that's the total mood of our form. Yeah, so that's pretty much it with the customizations. Like I will just leave all the other sections for you so we can jump on into the other parts. So yeah, and aside from that, I always want to make like emphasis to this one. The third tab besides styles is the most important because this is where you're going to configure the what will happen after someone submitted a form. So click on options, and then here down below, I always suggest to turn on sticky contact. So what does sticky contact do? Sticky contact will what they call this will prevent contact duplication to your system. Because basically what will happen with form submission is when someone submitted a form, automatically the system will create a new contact for it. So for example, if I submitted this form right here, it will create a new Natalie Sanchez contact for me. But if someone is already on your system, um, when the sticky contact is currently turned off, what the form does is instead of like putting the same records into one contact, it will create a new contact, which leads you to duplicated contacts. So whenever you want to create like forms, surveys, or maybe actually the order form submission from your checkout, always turn on sticky contact. In that case, you won't have to deal with duplicated contacts. So yeah, so turn on sticky contacts and then save form. And then another second, another important stuff that you need to figure is on submit, you have two options on how you're going to redirect your lead. It could be on opening a URL. So it could be, you can either create a thank you page for it. But what I usually do is I'll put it on message and I'll put in my thank you message in here after you submitted the form. So I'll show you what it looks like in a bit. So on submit, when you put it in message, you can put in the thank you message that you want. So let's have, for example, thank you for submitting the form for not I'll show you how to do custom values in a bit, but let me just do it like this. And then afterwards, you can definitely like customize how it looks like. In my case, I always put it on bold. I put it on center, and then I change the size into maybe 24. And then after that, I'll change the background color into transparent. So we have two bars of colors right here. On top, we have the solid colors. And here below is the transparency or opacity of the colors. So I always put it on transparent. So it won't what you call this, it won't contradict with the current setup. So I'll just save the form. So take note of the current layout. On submit, it will show up a message when they submitted the form. So let me just integrate the form. This is where you're going to maybe copy the link of the form because people are asking about it. So you need to click on integrate form. This pop-up will show up. You can either copy embed code if you want this form to be embedded to your website or maybe to your WordPress site or anywhere else. But in our case, I'll just copy the form link because we just need the link. So I just click on copy form link, and then I'll open a new tab, paste the form link in here, and you will see that this is actually the form that we just created. So let me just put in the information that we need. So I'll just put in my name, Techmatics, www.techmatics, and I'll do it like this. When I click on sign me up, it will look like this. Let's just wait for that. Why is it not working? And also we need to change the field size. Did it load? Hang on, just give me 1 sec. Let me just refresh my screen. Yeah, let me do the submission again. So Nath, Techmatics, website, Facebook, sign me up. Yeah, you'll see this loading bar. I think it's not moving. Just give me 1 sec. Let me try to do it in incognito options. On submit. This is, oh, there could be some updates that they're currently doing because the message was gone. Let's just wait for it. The submission may go through, but they won't have their confirmation message. And that's very important. Yeah, there could be some updates that's currently happening. Let me just go to options. Let me do that again. Open form link. Let me do the submission again. Yeah, still doing the same thing. So I'll send you the copy of the form onto the chat box. Maybe if you can try on your end to see if this could be maybe a problem in my computer or my internet. Try to submit the form if you have some time. But yeah. So I'll just get back to this form in a bit because we need to figure out why it's not sending or why it's not like turning on. Just give me 1 sec. Yeah. So I'll just check that one in a bit. So after that, after I already created the form, I actually included to be discussed today is to create a basic opt-in workflow for your form. Because basically what happened after someone submitted the form is they will be automatically put into submission. And then let's say, for example, I want to specify it to the June lead magnet. And you will see all the form submissions in here, which basically none as of the moment, because we can't go through with this process. I tried to figure out with with in a bit. But I think we need to move on with workflow for now. And I'll show you how to create a basic opt-in workflows for your lead magnet. So on your end, on your what do you call this? On your account, you will also have this lead sources folder, right? So what I actually suggest when creating forms is to just duplicate any of this lead sources lead magnet workflow, because this is already like set up into like gathering information via form. So let's have, for example, I will maybe just duplicate this lead sources lead magnet one, duplicate workflow, and then just give it 1 sec. Yep. So I just duplicated a workflow and maybe rename it into what's your current offer or what's your current lead magnet. So I'll call it maybe June lead magnet. Just click on create and it will automatically duplicate as a new workflow. So it's currently here below. So click on June lead magnet. So what you're going to do with this existing workflows that's already in your account is just change this trigger that you see on top. So instead of the form being maybe lead magnet one, I want to change it into the form that we just created. So in our case, it's called June lead magnet, right? Which is basically this one. And then afterwards, change the workflow trigger name into the actual form name so you won't get confused. So I'll call it June lead magnet. And that's it. So that's basically how you're going to change it. And then save trigger. Then afterwards, you're actually already good to go. But there's some stuff that I want you to check. The lead magnet tag needs to be maybe specified in whatever lead magnet you're currently offering. So currently, we just put in a placeholder tag, which is called a lead magnet. But in our case, you want to actually tag them accordingly into whatever offer you got. So for example, if you are a coach, and then you have like different branches for coaching, it's actually really great if you start tagging them differently into whatever offer. So so maybe in the future, if you want to add like if you want to do reactivation campaign for your offer one, offer two, offer three, offer four, you can just easily categorize your leads because you start tagging them accordingly into whatever offer they need to be. So in our case, instead of having it as a lead magnet, which is pretty much the generic tag, I'll call it June lead magnet. So I'll know that this is coming from the June lead magnet. So I'll just type in the tag that I want. And afterwards, if it's not showing an option for you, just click on add new tag and it will create a new tag for you in your system. So just click on save action and that should be all good. Oh, sorry. We need to change the tag too. So currently it's called add tag lead magnet. I'll call it add tag June lead magnet. Afterwards, this one is basically a client journey. You can definitely customize it. And then in our case, I just leave it because I want to focus on this internal notification. So what does this internal notification do? Internal notification is basically an in-house notification from our system, which allows you to be notified whenever someone submitted a form, submitted a Facebook ad form, and stuff like that. So this internal notification is set as an email. So what basically will happen is you can definitely like send a email notification to someone when someone submitted a form. So if you have a marketing team, you can tag in your marketing team in here. But if you want to get notified when someone submitted a form, you can put in you can add yourself in, so you'll get notified for every form submission. So here the from name are basically coming from the system. You can change it into maybe Techmatics lead magnet form. And then the from name, you can either put in your actual email. It doesn't really matter as long as it's an active email. In my case, I'll just put in that. And then here to users type, this is basically where you're going to send the notification to. So in our case, I want to be, you can either put it on all user if you want the all user of your account to get notified, or you can put it as a custom email if you have a custom email that you want to get notified, Or you can also do assign user if you've been assigning leads. But in my case, I always do particular user, because in this, for example, if you have multiple user for your account, you can set them as the as someone who will receive the notification from the form submission. So in my case, I only have one particular user on my account, which is me. But basically, for example, Giselle is a user on my account. I can also choose Giselle, so Giselle can also get the notification for every form submission. And aside from that, you can definitely change the subject into whatever you want. And then here down below is basically what's the body of the email. So currently what it has is a name field and then the custom value of the name. So what basically will happen is once you will receive this email, it will say that the subject will be lead magnet from form submitted, and the body would be coming from name, Natalie Sanchez, email would be nat@techmatics.com, because the system would autofill the information depending on the form submission. So yeah, so I'll just say this one. And then down here, we have another internal notification, which is basically an app notification. So if you still don't have the Techmatics app to your phone, I suggest you need to download it, because you can do a lot of stuff onto your Techmatics app. So if you're using iOS or maybe a Android phone, you can look for Techmatics. You can see that it is founded by Sarah, and that way you will know that it's basically the legit or the actual Techmatics form. I mean Techmatics app. So what basically will happen, this internal notification will send a notification to your phone that someone submitted a form. And you can just easily see the contact records into your phone if you have the Techmatics app. So I suggest you will download it, because basically it is for free. You can use your existing user login details and Techmatics web app onto your Techmatics app to your phone. So yeah. So after everything, the very important thing is to put your workflow on progress. I mean publish. That's the main rule. So put it on publish and then save, and you should be all good to go. So in our case, let's get back to this form, why it's not sending or why it's not working. Let me just try to put in sign me up. Oops, that's not the right format. Techmatics, and then sign me up. If it's not sending, let me just try to I'll just go to sites and courses. Any of you have maybe questions for me? Form builder. Let me just read to the chat. I'll just check on the forms that we got. Why it's not working? So maybe there could be something happening with the on submit. Maybe I'll show you the other workaround, which is basically opening URL. So open URL, this is where you're going to create a thank you message from your maybe funnels or website or stuff like that. So let me just show you what I mean. So in Techmatics, we actually have like different funnel builders and website builders. Yeah. Oh, it's not loading. So maybe I'll just go here. So under funnels, I have a pre-created thank you pages, but if you don't have it, I think you need to create one. This is just for a test, because basically the message on submit works, but for some reason at this time today, it's not working. Just give me 1 sec. Let me just get some thank you page that we pre-created. I think it's in here. Lead launcher. Could be this. Nope. So let me just create a thank you message. So I'll call it thank you page. Create. Yep. So that's a thank you page. Click on that. And what we're going to do is I'll create a very plain and simple thank you page. So I'll call it thank you. That would be thank you, create funnel step. And let's just wait for that. Yep. You can either use existing, but for me, I'll just create from blank, because I'll do a very plain thank you page for this one. So let's just wait for that. I'll just drag in full width and then add row, add one column, and then add element. And the element is basically, thank you for submitting the form. And then save. We actually are allowed to, I mean, it's actually possible to put in the first name of the client. For example, you want to make it specify depending on the form submission. So you can either put in here, thank you for submitting the form, Nath, if you want to address the lead. But let me just try to see if I can find the custom values. You just need to add in a custom values for it. So let me just go to campaigns. Let me see if I can. Sorry, I don't memorize all the custom values we got. So let me just this is not necessary. I just want to get this custom values because this is the custom values we need for that. So maybe my thank you message would be, thank you for submitting the form, contact first name, and we'll see what will happen. So just save it. I just made the thank you page pretty plain and simple. And after you have created your thank you page, the most important thing to do is to link a domain to your thank you page. So let's see what we can do for that. Let me just check your message. Yeah. Afterwards, go to settings and link the domain, and then learn Techmatics. If you don't have any domain link to your account yet, please reach out to us at support@techmatics.com so we can jump on with you. So just click save. Okay. Afterwards, this is basically the thank you page. So let me just copy that, paste it on the screen. You will see that it looks like this. This is a test because basically this is a test account. So that's what the thank you page looks like. So we need to go back to the form. This is just a different workaround, but you can definitely try this one if you want to have a thank you page. So on submit, I'll put it as an open URL and paste the link of the URL here. So just save form. And then afterwards, is this form saved? Yep, that's all saved. Integrate the form, copy form link, open it in a new tab, and let's try to submit another form. LinkedIn, sign me up. And yeah, there could be some problem with the button. As you can see, it's not going through. Just give me one sec. Sign me up, sign me up. Styles. Fields, options. Yep, and it's not going through. Okay. There could be a downtime with our form currently with this, but let me just try to do it last time. Let me just get rid of this button, because if not, then it could be an update. Yeah, so this is the submit button looks like if you don't have any form field added, or I mean submit form added. Submit, and it's doing the same thing. So basically it means that there's some update happening on the system. So I'll just update you guys into the group once the problem is resolved. So yeah. Any questions for me? I think we're good. And also one thing that I missed, each of these fields can be marked as required if you don't if you want your lead or contact to like basically fill it in. So you can either put in the first name required, email required, website not required because sometimes people don't have a website, and then this one required if you want to do it like that. But yeah, so maybe I'll just put in an update with the form currently on our Facebook page, or I mean Facebook group. So any of you guys is not maybe a member of our group yet, I'll just go here because I need to check on if we have any existing questions. So yes, I think we're good. So we'll just update you in the group, and also we will upload the recording of the call into our YouTube channel. Yeah. So I think we're good. Any other questions before we could end? Yeah, I think we're good. So thank you guys for jumping on a call with us for this week. So I think it would be see you next week. Yeah. So thank you guys for jumping on. Bye.
Bye, everyone.